Just gotta click off some stuff. All right, ready to go. Let's do this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of the Postman Podcast. And if you can see here, we are a man down. Introduce yourself. How you doing, Zach?
Howdy. 7 already? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, we thought this is episode 7.
Okay.
But yeah, as we both have something on in the background, I have the Nats Dodgers game on. Zach's got something special we'll be talking about in a little bit.
We'll get
with a certain thing with basketball, but I wanted to open up with something funny. We're not gonna talk about it too much, but with the NBA going on, we're about to have the NHL playoffs is right around the corner. I think they probably have they have an extra week versus the NBA.
NBA has like 3 games left.
Yeah, I think the NHL is like 6, I think 5 maybe, something like that.
A few.
Yeah, and with the NBA, the funniest thing I saw, the difference between 3rd place and 8th place in the West is 2 games. The Lakers are 3rd at 48-30. The Grizzlies, who fired their coach despite being 5th at the time, are 46-32 and have to play in a play-in game. So do the Timberwolves.
That's crazy.
You could blame the East for being as terrible as it is because
outside
of the 6 teams who are confirmed in the playoffs, the rest of the East is horrid. I mean, the Magic and Bulls are okay. I will say this: the Magic and Bulls are okay. The Bulls have actually been pretty good down the stretch. I will say that. Oh no, freaking Dodgers. I'll get to that in a minute. They just made it 6-4. But yeah, the Magic and Bulls have been okay. They've had good moments, but they're just not that deep of a team. The Hawks and Heat are horrible to watch. They are painfully bad.
It's a tough one.
And then the Kings and Mavericks are just...
You don't want my opinion on the Mavericks.
I don't think anyone wants someone's opinion on
Hey, they're
Mavericks
worth more money now.
All the Mavericks can at least hang their heads on right now is that they're not the Suns. That's the only thing keeping them from complete punching bag of basketball right now, even though they pretty much are. The Suns should be embarrassed right now.
Well, I got a question though. Would you rather make the playoffs and then get waxed by whoever 7 or 8 is, or just miss the playoffs entirely?
Well, here's the big thing, because I thought 9 and 10 play each other first. Is it not? I thought 9 and 10 play each other first. 7-8 plays, and the winner of that gets the 7th seed, and then 8-9 or 7-8 plays the winner of the 9-10 game.
Well, that's really dumb if that's how that works. But you might be right, but I don't like that.
At least that's what I thought it was. But again, I just started getting back into basketball this last year. Kind of last year when the Celtics were playing really good, and they are playing amazing this year. But
I guess that stops us. Final game that's just for seeding that everybody rests their stars. So I guess that makes sense.
Essentially. And it's pretty much at this point, you said, the Mavericks have 3 games. So essentially, as long as they don't lose out, they make the play-in. And with how bad the Kings are, they could take a game. And even if a play-in game is not the same as a playoff game, it's still another game that generates revenue, even if, regardless of what we've always what we talked about with all the stuff that happened with Luka and then in the Mavs PR disaster class, they still made the playoffs. Now put it with the caveat of the Suns are terrible and an embarrassment, and the rest of the West after that are just garbage.
Well, but you have a 4-team tank race too. That doesn't help.
You could honestly make it a 6-team tank race between the Jazz, Pelicans, Wizards, Hornets, Sixers, and Nets. They are all so bad. Which will make it funny for me because I love laughing at the Sixers. Sorry, Jack. But getting into basketball that I think we've both been a little more invested in than the NBA is what you have on, actually.
I do. I have the Natty on right now because as we're recording, the national championship is playing.
Yes. So. And I guess let's talk about those 2 games. You want to start with Florida or Houston?
Yeah, start with the Florida game. I mean,
it was probably the less eventful of the 2, but even still, for what it's worth, I've been for people who have been watching the podcast, I have been dogging on this March Madness because it's been absolutely garbage, honestly. But
All chalk.
yes, yeah, all chalk essentially, except the one team that should have been chalk. But no, not St. John's. No. Or as I should say it, they who shall not be named. But for what it's
They
worth,
couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat.
no.
So
For what it's
let's see
worth,
what you can do.
I will say this. That Florida-Auburn game was pretty good, and I think the final score doesn't do it justice. That game was tight through pretty much the entirety of it, up until like maybe the last minute when Florida started getting. I mean, Walter Clayton is unbelievable.
Him.
Maybe one of the most talented offensive players in all of college basketball.
I think he's
this
gonna
year.
go 2.
You think he's gonna be a lottery pick?
Oh yeah, easy.
Because I'm curious because I'm curious if there's any guys from Europe coming over. But I know like Flag's gonna be a lottery pick. I think Broom's supposed to be in that list. Clayton probably. Derek Queen, he's gonna be a lottery pick from what I've heard because that season with Maryland was unbelievable.
He's a unit.
He is insane. He is what everybody hoped Hunter Dickinson would have been had he went to the draft.
Poster. That was crazy.
Houston or Florida?
Yeah, Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, and that's the big thing, is because he did not get much help. I mean, Martin and Ha were good-ish, but outside of that, they didn't have much of anybody else show up that in that game against Auburn. The big thing that saved them was that Auburn ran into so much foul trouble. They ran into so much foul trouble. 6 of the 8 players they had 3 or more fouls.
Yeah. Well, they've always been a pushy team.
Mm-hmm.
But Broom he got shut down. Like
He made a lot of mistakes. I remember there was one play he came in and he got a late what do you call it? Knocking over someone check.
Charge.
Yes, my brain's smooth right now. But he got a late offensive charge, which like completely changed the look of the game. I think it was with like 3 minutes left in the game. It was on Condon, who was already he was already in foul trouble at the time. He was at 4, and he actually fouled out of that game late, but that play basically turned that game on its head. It saved Florida from letting Auburn get back, take the lead.
Right.
But all around, I thought it was a great game all the way through because I think that set the tone for what we've all been asking. Well, are they really the best 4 teams after, this tournament's been not great?
Well, I mean, to some extent, like March Madness runs are fun, like Cinderella runs are fun, but at some point, you understand that the best 4 or 8 teams are going to be playing come April. Like Cinderella teams are not going to be like you don't expect a, 15 seed to go to the Final Four. It's just not going to happen.
No.
There's too many monsters they got to face in a row.
The only time you really ever saw something crazy like that was FAU versus San Diego State, a 9 versus a 5 seed in the final. That still might be one of my favorite games of all time because that game was electric.
But I mean, it did promise that we were going to get the best 4 teams in the nation, which were the best 4 teams in the nation since Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And they proved it. Every single one. Well, most of them proved it.
So with game 2, we're going to talk about?
Yeah.
So,
very happy camper here.
But I guess before we go into that, that's the reason I was so low on this. I think it was mainly the Elite 8 games when I looked. I did watch a little bit. Texas Tech came, and they actually gave Florida a good run for their money. That was actually a solid game. But the other games, Alabama got waxed, lost by 20. Tennessee got put in a box and played one of the worst halves of basketball I've seen, not named Clemson, in the first round against McNeese.
Tennessee set a record. Least points scored in a half in Elite 8 history. 15.
Oh, I thought you meant tournament history. I was about to say, breaking Clemson's record.
They had less points than Clemson did at halftime.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think Clemson had 18.
Yeah.
That's true.
Nothing.
I think it was mainly half the games were bad. The Michigan State-Auburn game was okay, but Michigan State never really felt like they were in it at times.
Well, and Janai Broom was Superman.
Oh yeah, he was Superman. There's no questioning that. But I guess kind of going into the the next game, which again, I know you're very happy with this. As for people wondering, Houston is now in the finals. They beat Duke.
Choke job.
Oh yeah, for people wondering, Houston took the lead when they made it 69 or 68-67 when Jawan Roberts hit a second free throw with 19 seconds left. The first lead they had in that game since it was 6-5. Duke led for about 98% of the game. And they lost, and they're out of the tournament.
They made one field goal in the last 10 minutes and 30 seconds of the game.
Yep. It is one of the most unbelievable things I saw with that. You found that graphic?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the most unbelievable things I saw. They got put in a box and locked up for the entire last 10 minutes of the game, which was crazy to think.
Well, they've got all sorts of nicknames for this Houston team, and they're the best defensive team in basketball. I mean, it was quite literally the best defensive team versus the best offensive team in the country.
Yeah.
For that game, and you know what they say: defense wins championships. Like, they didn't have to be, barn burners, but good grief, can they block people? They suffocated everyone. They just set. Duke had a 7'2", their starting center. I forget his name, but starting center, 0 rebounds, 7'2", nothing.
It was Kamen Malak.
Yeah, 7'2", and you can't go grab a board.
Which, by the way, he's a freshman.
Yeah, they're all freshmen. That was the thing I was looking a lot into.
Is crazy.
There is not a freshman playing tonight.
Really?
Nope. There might be maybe like deep in the bench, but.
Oh, you're right. Three of the 5 from Duke were freshmen.
Mm-hmm. And that's what everybody's talking about. The difference is.
Nippel. Meanwhile, yeah, if you look at Houston, you got Roberts, who's a senior, Tugler, who's a sophomore, Cryer, who's a senior, Sharp, who's a junior, and Uzan, who's a junior. And good experience on that roster all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's here because they can develop people. Houston's here because they have one of the best coaches of all time.
And I think what surprised me with that was mainly the play of I'm always bad with names, with Jawan Roberts, because he was the one who had to guard Cooper Flag, and everybody was talking about the main thing everybody talked about was that Jawan Roberts was 2 inches shorter than Flag and 30 pounds heavier than him, and most people thought he wasn't going to really do well in that matchup, and
he clamped.
He didn't the first half. He looked really bad in the first half, but I don't know. It must have something Sampson did in the locker room. Because when he came out in that second half, he played so good. He finished with a double-double with 11 points and 12 rebounds, leading the team in rebounds. I mean, he boxed out Flag probably as good as you could have asked him to.
Well, that final shot was forced for Flag. Like, hit the
my God.
That one, I mean, the hands in his face, the entire stadium knew it was going to go to Cooper Flag. Like, there was nobody else it was going to go to. It didn't matter. It was just, my best against your best, and Sampson was better.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, and again, Flag did kind of sell that series, but...
I mean, he had 27 points.
Yeah, but he also played really bad in the last, 5 minutes of the game.
That's true.
He played really bad in that last 5 minutes of the game. And again, it's hard to say that as a freshman and all this stuff. But A, it's Duke, so I don't feel bad. And B, and this is the thing I kind of want to stress. That game should have been over the minute Houston got that technical with about 50 seconds left.
Yeah.
And Duke played really bad, and one of the people who was going to be at the limelight of that last minute of really bad basketball was Flag, the over-the-back foul, which, again, it's really ticky-tacky. I think it could have gone either way. But it's still just a mistake you can't make in that moment. The shot you brought up, all night, especially in the second half. He kept trying to do a lot of step back fadeaway shots when he's a big dude who was already getting enough fouls called on him.
Just
I mean,
pound the rim.
did you see the under the what do you call it? The reverse layup. They got clocked in the first half under the net. It was one of the best shots I ever seen in my life. And he just went away from that, and it really blew my mind because it was like
It's like a big man forgot he was big.
essentially, yeah, it's really weird.
But Duke's got to rebuild. They're out of people because all their people are going to draft.
Well, I thought it was just Fly going to the draft.
They're going to reset, I think, is what I keep hearing.
Oh, well. Just like the Crab Five, I'm still bitter as a Maryland
all gone.
fan.
The whole Crab
All
Five is
five
gone.
are gone. So
And
is
the coach.
Geronimo and Young. Screw Kevin Willard.
They got the A&M coach, I
Disrespectfully.
think, though.
What?
I think they got the A&M coach, though.
Yeah, they got Buzz Williams. So I like that hire, though. It's just
Yeah.
I'm still upset with how that all went down, but that's a discussion for another day.
I mean, like, honestly, I like the Natty matchup. And
I think
not
it's a
just,
great matchup.
Not just because I actually genuinely, run the tape, called it.
And folks, if you're wondering, I forget which episode we started the Natty. I want to say it's 3, if I remember correctly.
2 or 3.
I think it was 3 because I think 2 was when I was getting ready to come back for the A10 tournament. So I want to say it was 3 was when you called it. But folks, he called it. He even sent me a picture. He called Florida versus Houston. Will you also enlighten the crowd who your other 2 Final Four were?
See, that one's less cool. I had A&M and Wisconsin,
Yeah.
both of which sold horrendously.
Did they both
um,
lose in the Sweet 16?
Yeah.
Or
No.
no,
To A&M
no,
lost in the second round.
so did Wisconsin actually.
Yeah, they both sold.
Oh,
But
they both lost in the second round. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah, but the Final Four pick was, or the Natty
The
pick
final
was
pick,
on
you were
point.
on the money.
And I, for those wondering, I got Houston. I mean, best defense in the nation, best 3-point percentage on offense in the nation. That's a deadly combo.
I'm also joining you with Houston there. That defense, the way I watched that game end last 2 nights ago, I was literally sitting on the couch with my dad talking about it as after we came back from the Pirates games, and the way that game ended was unbelievable, and I can't bet on Houston, especially because Cryer played honestly so good, and Juwan Roberts was one of the best rebounders I have seen in a long time.
I mean, they're shooting 39% from the 3-point line on the season.
That's crazy. Oh
They've
my
lost one
God.
game since Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's the bit that's really blown my mind. They lost 1 game since Thanksgiving, which is crazy to think about. But, yeah, I'm going Houston. If Florida wins it, it's going to be on the back of Walter Clayton putting up basically the same numbers he did against Auburn. But if not, honestly, all things considered, I will give it this. The last 3 games of the tournament have been easily the best. No question about, well, minus the Maryland-Colorado State game, but I'm biased because those are the only real buzzer beater.
There's a couple good ones. There's a couple that the score didn't really reflect it the right way.
What do you think was, this will be the last thing we'll say about March Madness. What do you think was your favorite game of the tournament?
Let me pull up a bracket. There were so many good ones. Michigan State Auburn was pretty good. I liked that one a lot. Just because, like I said, Janai Broom was Superman. He had all the drama and everything. Going into the tunnel with like him mouthing the words "I'm done" and then coming back 5 minutes later and then nailing a 3-pointer to ice the game.
I will give you that.
That was cool. Colorado State Maryland was another good one. Sorry, I'm scrolling through brackets.
I can give you mine while you're looking.
Yeah, do that.
Actually, I got two. I know the game ended the way I didn't hope it would, but I will say the Arkansas Texas Tech game was so good. I'm just sad with how it ended for Arkansas. I felt so bad for them. But that game was great. And I know the final score didn't. It's another one where you're probably right on this. I don't think the final score reflected it. Duke, Arizona was so fun to watch. I mean, a game that ends 193 was just unbelievable and electric.
Yeah.
So, and then the other one for me, they were all Sweet 16 games. I have to give them credit. Sweet 16 was actually pretty solid in some senses. The last one for me was Michigan State Ole Miss. That to me might have been one of the top 5 games of the tournament easily, because Michigan State was playing terrible. They looked lifeless and limp. They couldn't shoot anything. And then Tom Izzo goes in, gives one of those crazy halftime speeches, and Michigan State comes out and rallies against Ole Miss, who I honestly thought had been playing over their head going into the tournament, and were about to make a run at the Elite Eight. And Michigan State just rallied back because they were such a good team, and I did not think they were going to get knocked out then. And the car wash, man.
Houston Purdue was another great game.
I didn't actually watch that game, but I saw the results, and it looked like a really good game.
Not quite a buzzer beater, but like 1 second left, stormed the floor, nailed the last. I think it was Sampson. Great game. Purdue is a good team. They're always a good team.
Oh, yeah.
Before we switch topics, I do want to mention the women's national championship was yesterday.
Yes, thank you for that.
Oh my goodness, UConn is a wagon,
Nasty.
dude. They took down 3 1 seeds.
They took down the best team in the country.
They were the best team in the country
And demolished them.
Well, they did it earlier in the season too. Right before the conference tournaments, they kicked the snot out of South Carolina. And all they had to do, oh yeah, they won by like 30.
That was one of their 4 losses.
They beat, they beat South Carolina badly.
Oh yeah, they beat them. What?
Oh yeah,
they beat them almost the same exact score.
Mm-hmm.
They beat them 87-58, and then in the final they beat them 82-59. That's insane. They had South Carolina's number at the highest amount. That's insane.
They did, and the tournament was great. I mean, there was a lot of good games. The one disappointment is that we didn't get to see Juju against UConn because she blew her ACL the game before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's unfortunate.
But she'll be in the WNBA. Paige
Buchers.
Oh my
Buchers?
goodness.
Is it? I can't ever
Beckers.
say.
I think it's Beckers.
Beckers? So what? The U silent?
I don't know. That's what the broadcasts say. So I listen to the broadcast. But
I hate when
she's a
names
unit.
are silent. I'm sorry. It's just
she's a unit. LSU's big star, I forget her name. She's coming back. So she'll be at LSU next year.
I mean, they had an unbelievable trio score in that game. They had Sarah Strong, Azzy Fudd, and Paige Beckers. I mean, Strong and Fudd both put up 24, and Beckers put up 17. Strong had a double-double. She had 15 rebounds.
Wow.
Against South Carolina. That's insane.
Well, the Fudd's parents were in the stands with creative shirts about their last name. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, they were great.
Fudd is great. You gotta have someone had to have a picture of Elmer Fudd.
It's like the Fudd is going on.
Oh, that's great.
I forget what the actual shirt was, but it was something like that. And I was like,
wait, let me see if I can Google it because I just
look up UConn Fudd mom T-shirt.
Fun fact, and that's one by the way.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, remember what I joked before that there's no way Kyle Finnegan gets that 5-out save? Well, he got that 5-out save. He did. Very dicey, but he did get it.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm having trouble finding it. Oh, here it is. Fudd around and find out.
Yeah. So if they sell those shirts, can we buy one? Like that's
dude, I would buy one. That's great.
They gotta have the Natty sign on it though.
Congratulations to UConn there,
absolutely. That was a.
Oh, I lost mine. There we go.
Absolutely solid.
Oh my god.
They were never in doubt, which is the crazy part. Like, I don't know if they had any games where it was like
close.
Yeah.
Here, let me look it up. First, here we go. It's the postseason. That's all the first games. Here we go. From first round to the and they beat Arkansas State 103-34.
They won by 69. Yeah.
They won by 69. They then played number 10 seed South Dakota State, and absolutely mopped the floor with them 91-57. Then they played Oklahoma, who was a 3 seed. So like now the competition has jumped up immensely. Doesn't matter. Beat them the same exact score as the final. I kid you not, 82-59. Then they played USC, which this was their closest game. I want to put this in perspective. This was their closest game. 78-64. 14 points. Semifinals, they played UCLA, who had been kicking the crap out of everyone in the Big Ten. And the Big Ten looked like the top 2 conference in all of college basketball for the women. They looked so good. And, I mean, we talked about it before with the Alabama-Maryland game. Like, one of the best games ever.
Oh, yeah. That was my favorite game of the tournament.
Oh, so
Men's
good.
and women's, by far the best. I
I
talked about it a couple weeks ago.
When you told me about it, I went and looked up the highlights. Dude, it was so good to watch. I watched it twice. It was that good. But when they played UCLA, UCLA was the best team in the Big Ten and had finished the year 34-2. Or 31-2 or something like that. Something insane. And they went into the tournament kicking the crap out of everybody as well. And when they arrived in the semifinals, I was like, this is going to be an electric game. UConn proceeded to beat UCLA in the semifinals by 34. 34. They beat them by 34 in the semifinals. Do you understand how insane that is?
It's absolutely crazy.
And
Because
then
they took three,
smoked.
like 3-1 seeds down, and they won by an average of probably 20, 25 points.
Yeah, literally, their Elite Eight, their Final Four, and their final game, all 1 seeds. USC, UCLA, South Carolina. And they smoked a 3 seed right before that. That's insane. I mean, probably the most deserved title you'll ever see.
Oh, yeah. They took down the gauntlet, and they kicked the door in, burned the house down. 1 trophy later.
Is that the example of salting the earth?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, as soon as I think we should have realized it after the South Dakota State game, when I was like, oh, they proceeded to win their first 2 games, by a point differential of 103. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the math. I made sure that I did the math right in my head.
And speaking of champions, how about Ovi?
Dude, thank God he scored in that game, because that national television game, where they put that game on national television against the Islanders and the Caps got smoked. I was like,
Nobody cared. Not one
nobody
person
cared.
cared.
All everybody wanted to see
Well,
was
they clinched already. Like they were in the playoffs a week and a half ago.
Forget the fact that they clinched. They have the best record of anyone in the NHL. The Caps, who 2 years ago were terrible, and last year only got into the playoffs by dumb luck and Charlie Lindgren standing on his head.
Lindgren.
This year they are, yeah. This
We're big
year they
Caps
are
fans, if you couldn't tell.
They are killing everyone. I am unfortunately a Kraken fan. It is very depressing.
Oh, I
over
forgot.
here.
That's disappointing.
We are.
Well, I'm
depressing.
me and
gets sent
Mike,
to the
who's
scum.
not here, are big Caps fans. So.
Well, and I know Ovi probably made you Caps fans.
Well, I mean, Ovi was, growing up to now, Ovi's been there. He's been there forever.
Yeah.
So much so, with goal number 895,
Insane.
he's passed the great one. Here's some list of his stats.
I'm scared to
Fun
see
fact,
some
he broke that with the exact same number of games played as Gretzky.
You're kidding.
Same number of games, 1 more goal. So all those people saying he had more games, no, he didn't. He had the same number of games.
That game was tied.
Tie game. It was also 20 years to the day that the Capitals won the draft lottery to get Ovechkin.
I remember that year because it was
Despite
him,
not being
Crosby, Ryan Miller, and then they went to that year was a lockout as well.
Was
I
Crosby
think.
the same year as Ovi? I thought it was the year after.
No, same year.
So, because Pittsburgh took him, but Pittsburgh had the worst record. They should have had the 1 seed, but they lost the lottery to the Caps, who took Ovechkin, and Ovechkin has now. These are his achievements:
Sounds insane.
I'll read them out for you. So
Yeah,
obviously, 895 all-time goals leader. He has 149 game opening goals. NHL record. 150 game tying goals. NHL record. 291 go-ahead goals. NHL record. 136 game-winning goals. NHL record. 19 30-goal seasons. NHL record.
No. Say that last bit again.
19 30-goal seasons. NHL record. 14 40-goal seasons. NHL record. 9 50-goal seasons. NHL record.
That's crazy.
9 seasons leading the entire National Hockey League in goals. NHL record.
That'll never get broken again.
He's
Unless
undisputed the best
Connor
goal
McDavid
scorer
is.
of all time. You
Connor
can make
McDavid
the
will break
GOAT.
the points
You
record
can make the
maybe,
GOAT
but-
debate all you want, but there will never be a goal scorer as good as Alexander Ovechkin.
No. Like, even guys who are, like, the most electric players in all of hockey, which is, like, Connor McDavid right now, like, he might break the all-time points record with how he plays, but he's not going to break the goals record because that's insane. And I remember watching sometimes, like, most of his goals came the same way. He sat in 1 to 2 face-off circles,
The
got
OV,
the puck.
the OV circle.
The OV circle, and just slap shot, and it's just in the back of the net, and there's nothing you can do about it as a goalie. You just have to sit there and cry. Like,
I mean, yeah.
it's insane to think. And I want to look at some of this.
He's also he also has 325 power play goals, NHL record, and 27 overtime goals,
That's insane.
NHL record.
I mean, for reference, the next guy who's even on the list who's currently playing is, guess who? Sidney Crosby. Which, again, considering those two were 1 and 2, might be one of the best drafts of all time. I will stand by that.
He also goal 894 on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
He broke a tie with Jaeger for the most game-winning goals. So
You're kidding.
kind of poetic.
That's insane.
But absolutely ridiculous. I saw something that said that a lot of the broadcast people were saying that it motivated the Caps that he was chasing this record, because all of a sudden they're playing like unbelievable chemistry. They're up and they got energy. They got they got fight. They got fire. And by the way, Ovi has 42 goals this season, and he missed 16 games. He broke his leg. He missed 16 games.
I just saw that. What?
Yeah. So at 39 years old,
Just casually puts up a 40-goal season
and he came back 2 weeks early.
while only playing like maybe 65 games this season.
He came back early too, so ahead of schedule.
That might be one of the greatest hockey seasons I've seen in my life.
Well, it was funny. He had an opportunity to go for the hat trick on Friday,
Yeah, and he didn't take the empty netter.
and he didn't take the
Against-
empty
was
netter
it
because he
Chicago,
said
I think?
he said I want the goal. I want the goalie in the crease.
So I love that he did that.
And he scored on his countryman too, the first one he ever got off of him.
Off the Islanders?
No, off of their goalie.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They were really
that's-
good friends, like watch each other's kids type of friends.
Oh, it's hilarious.
But he said he shouted him out because they stopped the game. They had like a 15-minute ceremony in the middle of the second period.
See, I'm glad they did that. Wait,
Yeah, and nobody
In New
cared.
York?
Everybody supported it in New
oh,
York.
that's hilarious. Dude, that's insane. Like, looking at some of these names that he's passed. Marcel Dione, Phil Esposito, Mark Messier, Steve Yzerman, Mario Lemieux, Gordie Howe, Jaromir Jagr, Wayne Gretzky, Brett Hall. Like, these are like guys that no matter where you go, everybody remembers them. And that's going to be the same with Ovi as well. I mean, like I
He's
said,
passed every name in history.
Every name in history. Yeah, he is the greatest goal scorer of all time. And the next best one, and this is the bit that's wild, like I said, Sidney Crosby. He's not only 18th on the list, but you ready for the difference between Crosby and Ovi? Ready for the difference in goals? 273.
Wow.
He's 18th all time. He's going to be a guaranteed Hall of Famer when Crosby retires. He is maybe even, I think he might even be top 10 in all-time points. Because he's like one of the best playmakers I've ever seen in my life.
Well, he's one of the top 10 all-time, period.
Like, they both are, and that's what's crazy.
Yeah, like you can make all sorts of GOAT. I'm not a big GOAT debate type of person in general, but stats back it up. The greatest of all time. Not close.
Dude.
And I'm happy he hit it before the playoff run, because how great would it be for him? Like, I wouldn't even be mad if he just walks off into the sunset with another Stanley Cup.
That's what I was going to say. I'm putting a $10 bet on the Caps to win the Cup before the playoffs start.
I'm buying.
I don't even care if they get swept in the first round. Like, I'm doing it because, you know what would be funny? This would be the funniest Cup final you would see. The Caps versus the Blues. Have you seen the story with the Blues?
Mm-mm.
They were like mediocre through most of the season. Right up until the middle of March. Since March 15th, they have proceeded to go 12-0. Broke their franchise record for the longest winning streak ever. And have catapulted themselves into the playoffs now. And they are pretty much guaranteed to get in. They are a lock for the wild card. And it reminds me of, like, the way this year has been. It wouldn't surprise me if it would be these two. You get 2017, right? That was the year the Caps won it, right? 2017? 18? You get 2018 Capitals, who were an absolute wagon with one of the best stories behind it. And then you get 2019 St. Louis Blues, who went on the craziest miracle run of all time. And I feel like you could get that sort of matchup in the final. And you know how wild that would be? I would drive back down to D.C. to go to, and I'd pay however much I'd have to figure out to go at least to one, if not more, like both. Or all of the home games for the Caps.
Would you state on podcast that we'd go to a Stanley Cup final game in DC?
Oh, absolutely. We will vlog it for Postman. If Washington makes the Stanley Cup final, all three of us will be at that game. We will gaslight Mikey into going.
That's my specialty.
That's both of ours, but but I guess kind of moving off of hockey, because there wasn't too much besides there, because it's been depressing as a Kraken fan. It's not been fun.
That's your choice. I mean, you had a hometown wagon, and you chose the expansion team from Seattle, and they're not very good.
No, we had the 1 year. We beat the Avalanche and took Dallas to 7, but. Yeah, Dan Bowlesman.
We had the 1 year we almost won. Yeah.
I think we did win a series. And it was only year 2. I was so optimistic as well. But moving off of that, we'll go to the sport that's making me happy right now, which is baseball. One, because baseball will always be tried and true. Well, it's fitting with the shirt I'm wearing.
If you build it, they will come.
Field of Dreams. I got it. My dad got it when he was at Dallas Dallas. Yeah, Dallas, my brain. When he went to the All-Star game when it was... Or not the All-Star game, I'm so stupid. He went to go watch a Rangers series when my mom went down there for work. And he saw all these shirts there. He got me this and a Ken Griffey one.
That's pretty cool.
I know, it's so cool. But
that's my favorite movie.
Shout out the Nats. Like I said at the start, closed the door. Beat the Dodgers, by the way. And like I said, I think they've honestly played a lot better since like the start of the year, for what it's worth.
Well, their bullpen just needed to be
not garbage.
Yeah, they.
Hey, don't look now. They've won 3 straight.
I know. Don't look now.
Gore pitching another gem.
defensive gem too. Not necessarily Gore, but like his defense was crazy good.
Can we highlight this? Gore, through 3 outings, has 25 strikeouts. What was that number you needed again?
170.
That's looking pretty good right now. He looks
Now my
really
other
good.
ones, not as much.
Well, I mean, you want to start with Dylan Cruz? Because I feel like we kind of need to talk about that because he's looking
better. He's looking better.
But for a while,
His defense still looks good.
really bad.
He almost had a spectacular catch against the wall.
I'm not as much worried about the defense. Sometimes
But,
stress
I mean, he'll
just
catch
come
up. Like,
with that.
hitting is hard,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
but he's getting good reps in. He was robbed of a base hit RBI today, which was disappointing. But I don't know why they changed that stat. So he should have had his first RBI today. He
They've been
had
doing
2 hits
that
on
stupid
Sunday.
stuff.
I don't know if he had a hit today. If you count the,
He went 0 for 3.
yeah, because they switched it to a fielder's choice, which I didn't agree with. But anyway,
But there's been some promising signs. James Wood hit a nuke.
oh, that was a missile. You knew
Oh my God, he
off the bat. You knew that was
smoked
gone.
that. Keibert Ruiz and Nate Lau look so good for you guys. Like Nate
Well,
Lau looks like a cornerstone for you guys.
Yeah. I mean,
Like I thought that
Paul
was an
DeYoung looked
unbelievable trade.
fantastic today too.
Yeah, he looks solid as like considering he's like your backup shortstop. Like it's backup shortstop slash
Backup shortstop
kind of
that has
starting third
800
baseman.
career games at shortstop.
Which is wild to think.
I mean, he was with the Cardinals forever.
He was with the Cardinals. He had a decent year with the White Sox. Went over to the Royals for a little postseason run. Like he's had some experience around the league. And even a guy like Ahmed Rosario brings amazing depth for your team, which I was so surprised when I saw. You know, I saw the Lau trade. I saw you sign Josh Bell. Then I saw you get Ahmed Rosario. I'm like, hold up, the Nats are actually kind of like they got depth.
They do. Well, they're building, and they understand that they're not too far away. Like,
Like you guys are fun to watch.
They are a fun team for sure. They're definitely a fun
Maddeningly
team.
inconsistent sometimes.
Well, their bullpen has been terrible for 15 years. So, I mean, at some point,
Even the year they won the World Series.
yeah, they just
Never
got really
forget
hot.
Fernando
They
Rodney.
all got really hot at the same time, which was nice. But
Yeah.
pitching coach, Sean Doolittle, I think,
Tim
One
and
of
Jim Hickey.
and first base coach Gerardo Parra.
So sick, by the way.
That is pretty cool.
I saw that, and I was talking to my dad about it. But I guess kind of going in that. Should I go with the team I support or the team I went and watched?
Team you went and watched.
Oh boy! I mean, for my dad's sense, I know he's happy because the Yankees played a pretty good series. I'll give the Pirates credit for not getting swept and actually doing something in extra innings. Tommy Pham actually hitting a ball. What a concept! The Pirates are so bad. And I don't know, do you want me to talk about the games or the thing that they've been getting laughed at the most? Because I could talk about either.
Both.
Let's start with the games. I went to both games that they got smacked around, which, for reference, they beat the Yankees 5-4 in extra innings. I actually give them credit, because that game was actually, everybody, I don't even know, like the 10,000 fans who sat through the rain this weekend, especially on the last game, got to see a win on the home opening series, which I'm at least happy they got that. But the other two games, horrific. Embarrassing. They got smacked around 9-4 and 10-4. And you know what's the most embarrassing part of that series? I want to mention these two things. The top 5 for the Yankees in game 1 barely did a thing. Judge hit a 2-run bomb, whatever. The game was already 7-4 at that point. Here was their 6 through 9. Volpe went 3 for 4. Grisham went 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Jason Dominguez went 2 for 4. Oswaldo Cabrera went 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. That's game 1. Game 2, and it's sad that I bring this up twice. Wells went 1 for 3 with a walk. Dominguez went 1 for 5. He didn't do great, but Oswald Peraza had 2 at-bats through the season up to that point. 2 for 4. Trent Grisham, 2 for 4 with 2 bombs. Trent Grisham. Bailey Falter sucks, and I'm at least glad that the Phillies realized that mistake.
We're gonna go on a limb here and say that the Pirates will not be raising the
Trash.
Roger very much.
They are trash.
Yeah.
I watched it live. You want to talk about the Nats bullpen? Oh my God, the Pirates bullpen is so bad. It's just a bunch of failed Yankees. Like, I'm not kidding. You have Dennis Santana, who they have registered as their closer, I want to mention. Caleb Ferguson, Tim Meza.
Bednar.
He's in AAA. Did you know that?
Oh.
He's in AAA. His ERA is 11.
I didn't know that.
He's pitching so bad that he is in AAA. Colin Holderman, who was supposed to be their stopgap guy, or like their fireman guy.
The hold guy, if you will.
Essentially, yeah, has a 10 ERA.
Yeah, he's not holding very much.
No. This team is abysmal outside of a few players. And then... oh, boy. This story's going to make me so angry. Because I'm gonna reference this based off of a tweet I said. Because thank you, Jack, for liking this. So someone I watched his name is or cover his name is Noah Hiles, or I follow on Twitter. Put out a statement talking about a certain thing that happened with Roberto Clemente, who has a like a tribute sign or like a memorial per se on the right field wall of PNC Park. What do the Pirates do? Instead of honoring that, they put a Surfside ad on it. And for people wondering what Surfside is, it's alcohol. Yeah, like the one thing that Pirates fans need, honestly, to watch this team. And they put out a statement, the Clemente family talking about how upset they were about this. And I honestly had enough at this point. I was already a little butthurt about the fact, and I'll be a little personal on this fact. I've applied for the job there 3 times, and they've told me the same statement 3 times, so I have no sympathy at this point for saying what I said. I said, at what point will the Pirates, and I added them in this statement, learn to be a competent organization and care about the fans and the few good things that you built this team on? But please, promote more alcohol so fans can drink away their sorrow of supporting this classless, terrible organization. Absolutely shameful. Sorry,
you kind of hit the nail on the head on that one.
It's embarrassing. The best thing that the Pirates have ever had, being Clemente, replaced for an alcohol ad. That's all I need to say. I don't care if the Pirates even get back to 500 and look competitive. Nobody wants to support this team right now until Bob Nutting sells. So, it's painfully frustrating. Rooting for the Pirates as a second team.
Their offense is horrendous.
Schemes will be traded, and when that happens, fan apathy will reach the highest it has ever been since the 70s or 80s. If you want a reference for how bad that'll be.
Well, it's funny that didn't they face Garrett Cole? Oh no, he's his arm.
He's shut down for the year. They faced Max Fried in Game 1.
But Garrett Cole being a former Pirate, number 1 overall pick.
Yeah. Pirates fans come to, you know what the Pirates fans come to the games for? 2 people, and that's it. Paul Skeens and Andrew McCutcheon. Those are the only 2 people. Maybe O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds, because they're still talented players. They're just not that well known. But outside of those 4, no one else. Like Jones and Keller are fun to watch, but they're not great.
And Jones is hurt.
And Jones is out, and Keller's not been great to start the year. He's been struggling with his command. So it's like, I watched it in Game 1. He labored through 4 innings. He did not look great, and it was a shame to see. And this team just is so clueless at building a competent team.
Would you rather be a Pirates fan or a Jets fan?
Jets. At least you can buy into some hype going into the year, whether if it's believable or not. I don't think Pirates fans have had hope since 2016.
Well, that's still sooner than the Jets have made the playoffs.
It's not sooner since they've had hope. Pirates fans haven't had hope in a decade. And that's going to still be going.
Just
it's
quick
a shame.
update. Quick update. Houston's up 31-28 at half.
Yeah, let me pull up.
Gators have
baseball
9
scores.
turnovers. Houston has 2.
How many does Florida have?
9.
Ooh, that is rough. I'll give some quick baseball updates to like calm my rage. The Pirates, as much as I've clowned them, actually beat the Cardinals 8-4. Maybe proving the Cardinals are who we thought they were.
Bad.
Bad. The Tigers beat the Yankees. Finally, somebody's emerging out of the AL Central. They beat them 6-2, and they look. We talked about it. They got swept by the Dodgers to open up the year, and since then they have gone 6-1. They've looked really good since that opening series. Toronto took down Boston 6-2. The Nats held on 6-4. The Mets are about to beat the Marlins 2-0 in the top of the ninth. As Ryan Stanek's going for the save.
How does our bet look? How does our little wager?
Oh, painfully bad for me.
You picked the Reds.
Unfortunately, I did. We'll go from first to third. Mikey is in first. As the Blue Jays won tonight, they moved to 6-5 for the year. Actually tying the Red Sox for second in the AL East. The A's are currently standing at 4-6 as they are playing the Padres tonight, so they might move to 4-7, but we'll see. Severino's on the mound, so you never know. And the freaking Reds are 3-7 to open up the year, so it's not as bad as I would think. But man, they've made this year so painful. Watch 3 straight 1-0 losses. Are you serious? It's just,
That's a tough one.
That's so tough. They didn't score a run through 35 consecutive innings. Essentially 4 games.
I guess they thought they were playing golf.
Apparently. Or soccer.
Lowest score wins.
Or soccer. Just, let's go for 4 straight draws. Oh, wait. There's no draws in baseball. Yeah, so it's not looking great for me right now to open up the year. But there is still 152 games left in the year. Still a lot of time for things to change. They do play in a bad division. So I'll keep that optimism there. So they still get 26 games against the Cardinals and Pirates, which can maybe build my optimism up.
Are there any teams that you think have any alarm bells going off yet? I know it's early.
I'll leave the one that you want to say. Twins for me. I know I wasn't really expecting much from the Twins, but my God, they look horrible. When I watched them get swept by the Cardinals, that alone already started ringing alarm sirens for me. But they've looked bad through almost every series they played. Their offense is non-existent. I'm pretty sure Royce Lewis got hurt. Carlos Correa has been garbage. And I mean, he's batting 111 through 10 games. The only guy batting like halfway competent, actually it's 2 guys, Matt Wallner, one of their top prospects, and one of their 2 only signings of the offseason, Harrison Bader, who is batting 269. Everyone else is batting 230 or less. It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
And their pitching hasn't looked great either, and that's the other concerning thing. Joe Ryan hasn't been great. And they're seriously trusting Simeon's Wood Richardson to give him good outings. That's just stupid. So, yeah, it's been painful to watch them play.
Yeah.
Anyone you got right off the gate?
Yeah. Honestly, I got 2, and they're playing each other right now, which is kind of interesting. But I have Seattle and Houston. They both look bad.
Yeah, Houston's been very... they've not been fun to watch, that's for certain.
Houston's been very boring and very mid. Seattle cannot hit anything.
See, I don't want to be the one to say I told you for that one, but...
their pitching just hasn't helped them either. That's their problem.
Yeah, that Giants series kind of summed it all into good perspective.
Well,
we'll get
I
to
mean,
the Giants in a minute.
that
but-
was part of the problem is they played the Giants and they got smoked because the Giants are fantastic right now.
We'll get to the Giants series, but it's not been a great start for the Mariners as I'm quickly going through their series right now. But they opened up the year against the A's and dropped. And actually, it was okay. They went 2-2, but then they played the Tigers, got swept. Or no, they didn't. They took one. They won a 3-2 game. Then they played the Giants and got swept. 2 of those games they lost on walk-offs, which is
That's
a
tough.
brutal way to lose.
What are they, the Marlins?
Apparently. No, they're the Cubs.
But how about a team you think is going to come back to earth?
Come back to earth, like based on how they're playing right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough right now because no one's really playing over their head. I mean, the only reason I'm saying this is because right now, division winners or division leaders are the Yankees, who I think are still going to be good at the end of the year. The Tigers, who maybe Kansas City and Cleveland get their stuff together, but I feel like the Tigers are going to keep in it all year. Maybe the Rangers, but I'm not a believer of that. I think there's really only one obvious answer, and you'll probably agree with me on this. It's the Giants. No chance did you believe that the Giants were going to be 8-1. I projected them to be 4th and be like 78-82. Like, you think that's fair?
Yeah.
78-84 actually is what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah, they're playing out of their mind. Their pitching is great. I'm getting 2021 Giants flashbacks, but they got to come back down to earth.
But they also have young talent that's starting to show up here.
Well,
you have Patrick Bailey, you have Junho Lee, you have Helio Ramos.
Well, they have Junho Lee back.
Yeah, they have Junho Lee back.
He got hurt pretty early last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have Verlander, and they've got good pitching.
Well, Verlander's been horrible.
Well,
this is the funny thing through that.
But honestly, the Angels got to fall off at some point, right?
What's the Angels' record? I didn't realize
6-3.
Seriously?
Yeah, they're second in the division.
Did I just miss that?
Yeah.
Apparently, I must have. Oh my God, they're 6-3. Who have they played?
They played the White Sox, they played the
Okay.
Guardians, and they played the Cardinals, and they won all 3 series.
So essentially, unless we take Cleveland as bad this year, they've played no one. Sort of.
I mean, they played well.
They have played well, and I will give them credit.
They shoved in that Cardinals series.
The big thing I want to see, because the big thing everybody was talking about was how bad the Angels' pitching was going to be. And I'll give credit where credit's due. Kenley Jansen and Ben Joyce are a great 1-2 combo. In
Ben
the 8th
Joyce
and
is
9th
going to
inning.
take over and could be a great closer as soon as he can find his command.
Oh, yeah. But even having him as like a setup man, like how like a Chapman is right now for Boston, who can close games. And then you have an experienced, talented veteran like Kenley Jansen right now.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart move from them. Jose Soriano has pitched solid, sort of solid through his first 2 outings. I mean, even looking at the Angels' starting pitching, it hasn't really been good. Like, it's been okay. I mean, Kikuchi has pitched 2 quality starts, but, like, he's also been giving up a long ball in those outings.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe it's, let me see the scores of these games. 6-2, 10-4, 9-7. So they're scoring a lot of runs, it looks like. 5-4. I don't know. Yeah, I could see that. I definitely could see that with the Angels because it seems way too early. I think the Rays will be the first real big test for them. If they play solid against the Rays and then they got a 2-series stretch where they go on the road to Houston and Texas. If they go 3-3 in that stretch, they might actually hang around the wild card race for the first time in a while, which would really blow my mind.
Yeah.
It's more of a testament to how bad the the American League is playing to open up the year.
Now, one more. I'll give you one more question before we wrap. Give me a team or two that are playing really bad but don't sound the alarm bells just yet.
Atlanta. I'll say that one loud and proud. Cause I remember we talked about it right before we got on the call. They were playing bad. They have the worst record in baseball. They're currently 1-8, but it's also hard to say because that third game got rained out against Miami, so we won't really know because that game got rescheduled for freaking August. So we won't know. But I think one thing for me has been there's been a lot of underachieving for how talented that roster is. I will say this, though, and I saw a good comment from this before. The Braves' back end is actually really bad now that I look at it. Brian De La Cruz has been horrific for Atlanta. And then they're running out guys like, I have to look up this name because I've never even heard of him before. Drake Baldwin and Nick Allen, who played for the A's and sucked and got cut by the A's.
That's a tough one.
If you're getting cut by the A's, you're not a good player. I'm sorry. You're just not. No offense to Nick Allen, but that is terrible for what the Braves usually should be running out. And I didn't think about that.
You know what I said last week?
I forgot what you said last week.
September 15th, they're out of the playoff race.
I just don't believe that yet.
If they go mess around and get swept against the Phillies,
I don't see that happening. But if they lose 2 of 3 and start the year 2-10,
that's bad.
That's gonna be a hard hill to climb out of.
Especially with the Phillies owning the division right now. So any game they lose is...
Let's not say owning the division. The Mets still look really good.
Okay, but they're on top of the division. They're the leaders right now. So any loss adds 2 games back. It's not just 1.
That is true. And I know it's going to feel astronomical for the Braves right now because, like you said, they went and had a tough start, as I kind of acknowledged on the first time around, is having to play... having to go and play the Dodgers and Padres is just a tough draw of things. And I do think, unfortunately, and that's where this Marlins series kind of left me conflicted because they went home and they were so frustrated with how things went, and they beat the living crap out of the Miami Marlins 10-2 in their home opener. And then they got blanked by Cal Quantrill and the Marlins bullpen, which is horrific.
Yeah.
They are literally running out of glorified AAA roster, and they're getting smacked around by guys like Matt Mervis. But I'm just not willing to believe that yet until something changes. They have too much talent, too much depth right now to be as bad as they've been. They're not the worst team in baseball bad. To quote Cade Cunningham, they're not 1-8 bad. I don't believe that.
Honestly, for me, it's the Royals. They just...
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with them, but they just can't get out of their own way. But they have a lot of talent there. They have really young pitching, and Bobby Witt's still a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
And they did win the series pretty handily against my Orioles. But I don't believe that they're going to be bad, especially in a really, really weak division. That division, I'm not sure you're going to have a team that is 5 games over 500.
I'm not going to say that yet because, again, it's still early in the season. And
well, right. I'm just saying the way that it's playing right now, they're all
currently
terrible.
with the pace of them, yeah. With the pace everyone is right now. I do think it's also a tough draw when you lose 2 extra inning games out of your first 9 to open the year. I think that's just unfortunate.
Is that a tough draw, or is that just you can't close the deal?
I just think that's just tough luck to open up the year. Sometimes it just happens. Especially, the way I look at it, baseball's won in September and October, not April. If you lose an extra inning game in April, it's just that's frustrating, but you move on. You lose that kind of game in July, August, that's going to sting. That's going to sting and that's going to hurt really bad, is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Especially when you play in a weak division. I think they will be fine in the long run. I think they're winning right now, actually. Yeah, they're winning 4-1 in the 5th inning, which if they win today, they'll move back to 500. So, and I think their pitching is good enough to easily pull them out of kind of weakish start. I feel like maybe we put a little too high expectations on them with how fun they were last year to watch. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
They can't be that bad. Like they're not. Their record doesn't show it. They played really bad the first couple series. Saved by the Orioles series, but they played like crap.
Garbage.
Yeah. So I don't believe they're that bad. I wouldn't worry if I was a KC fan. I'm personally not a KC fan, but I wouldn't sound the alarm just yet. I don't think that they're going to have trouble when they play what is slated to be a very weak division. I don't see them struggling against anybody but the Tigers, to tell you the truth. I don't buy the Guardians at all.
Not yet. Like, not at all.
Not right now. Like, they just don't look like they have very much depth.
I think that Josh Naylor trade was a big bust.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like that when I saw it.
I mean, Lane Thomas, I think it helps that they have him now. That they got him from Washington last year.
Are they playing right now? No, they don't play tonight.
They don't play today.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I also could be on the fence with Cleveland because I feel like...
But they're always stupidly good in the summer and just they're like the Brewers. It's like you look up and all of a sudden they're on top of the division and nobody really knows how or why.
Yeah.
The Brewers are at 500 again, by the way. They clawed their way back. They just had a tough start.
Well, it doesn't help when your pitching turns into the home run derby.
Well, I mean, Nestor's used to pitching on that field, but he's not used to pitching against those people.
This is very true. Yeah, I was gonna say something now. I forgot, but I guess I did want to wrap up. I completely forgot. As a Phillies fan, I just want to mention I will not be giving them too much crap because if you remember from the last time, I was sort of low with the fact that they took the first game against the Rockies, and then I said, "Let's not go crazy here." It was against the Rockies. Since then, they swept the Rockies and then took 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. I was not expecting them to play that good against the Dodgers. Oh my God, Jesus Luzardo is unbelievable. That might be one of the best pickups I've seen Philly made in a long time. He looks so good. I mean, on national television, or not national television, freaking Apple TV, whatever.
I can't believe that Phillies Dodgers were playing and they chose to put Red Sox Cardinals on Sunday Night Baseball.
Dude.
It was a terrible game, too.
What was the score of that game? Get ready.
It was like 11-2 or something.
Drum roll. 18-7. It was 18-3 in the 9th inning. BTA. I'm not going to say what that phrase means, but you can look it up. But that series was unbelievable between the Phillies and Dodgers. Every game looked like a postseason game in freaking April.
For those that were wondering, BTA is better try again.
Yeah, better try again.
Definitely.
Yeah, see you guys act. But even like that series looked like every game looked like a playoff game, with the energy. Like even Dodgers fans even showed up a little bit to Philly, which kind of surprised me. That place I think was sold out all 3 games.
Not surprised.
In Philly. And Philly already draws a decent crowd. I think they're like 10th, 11th in.
Well, I think they're the most beers drank per capita in the league.
No, that's White Sox. No.
I don't know.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if we're talking, if as long as you don't include tailgating, in which case Milwaukee takes the cake.
Oh yeah, they get down probably
because they don't buy anything in the stadium because they'll drink a whole like 30 rack on the way
if you live
in.
in cold Wisconsin, you probably have to.
What else are you gonna do?
Exactly. No, but I guess kind of quick thoughts on that. They've looked really good. Jesus Luzardo has been unbelievable. Bullpen is a very mixed bag right now.
Yeah.
Their lefties are great. Their righties, Joe Ross, time to get more innings, I guess. I guess maybe I'm not saying like the sky's falling. Jose Ruiz is okay. He's just frustrating to watch. Kerkering's been great. I'll be with the caveat of I'm just not the biggest fan of having him as our main righty.
But Mason Thompson's your favorite player, right?
You mean Jordan? I serve up meatballs. Jordan, my name mixed reflects his name because he gets sauced every outing. Like, he sucks. Oh my god, he is horrible. Do you want to know the true testament of this? He pitched like garbage in game 1, in which we were up 3-0. Luzardo dealt for 7 innings. Strom almost gave it up in the 8th, but they got out of it. And the only reason they didn't blow that game in the 9th is because JT single-handedly bailed them out, which was crazy to think. He threw out a runner in the 8th and 9th inning, you know?
Wow.
He threw out a runner he threw out Ohtani to get out of the 8th, and then threw out he threw out, I'm blanking, Chris Taylor to get out of the 9th. Like, 2 fast guys. And they got through that. And then the Dodgers, well, thanks to Nola and the long ball again, well, that bad offense took game 2, and then we went to a shootout in game 3. I went and lost my mind when Nick Castellanos hit that grand slam off Alex Vesia to make it 6-2. It was
that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
What?
Then that'll make it a
deep
drive to left field.
Did anything happen in the world that day?
No.
I mean, we all joke about the stock market crashing right now, so maybe that's why. But nah, in all seriousness though, that was a playoff series, and if Philly can keep playing that way, then they're going to be a great team this year. I'm still a little skeptical, again, with the bullpen being as inconsistent as it's been, and I still have no faith in Taijuan Walker, but we'll see. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a long season, and through 10 games, it's been fun to watch, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing beats baseball.
Nothing beats baseball.
Amen to that, my brother, and to that. We'll wrap this up. We'll keep you guys updated with the standings. We'll try to keep... I'm going to be working on a graphic, and we'll be throwing it out on the Instagram Postman Podcast once a week. Keep you guys updated with the current record. And like I said, for anyone who wants to follow along, Mikey picked the Blue Jays, Zach picked the Athletics, and I picked the Reds. So for anyone who's a fan of me, please pray that the Reds start playing good baseball. Please beat the Giants tonight.
Or we can all laugh that he's picked the Reds three years in a row to be playoff teams, and
you mean
they
four?
continue to. Oh
you
yeah,
four?
that's true. And then they continue to not be.
And break my heart every single year. So we will see. We'll keep you guys updated with that. And if you enjoyed, if you were for those listening, make sure you share it around. And for those watching it on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications. And with that out of the way, we're gonna get out of here for the night. Y'all take care. Love y'all.